Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. This is a family-friendly show. We have boys and girls of all ages. It is Who's Fighting on a Sunday evening. And I tell you, we have a lot to unpack. But first, MG, how you feeling? How you doing?
Man, feeling good, feeling great, brother. Man, glad to be here, man. How y'all boys doing?
Doing good over here. Just got done at the gym. You know what I'm saying? Chest and back day.
Yeah, you got that pump.
I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it? Can you see it? Hey.
Yeah, man. I had to take my old man nap just to, recover for this grandiose evening, so we could, break bread. But yeah, it's Sunday. It's a good day. It's after an action-packed combat sports, mainly boxing, weekend. What we've been waiting for. Should we just dive into it, or should we slow walk this dog a little bit and talk about what we did leading up to to the weekend?
For sure. Well, we kicked off track and field season, so I spent all day Saturday in the sun. So yeah, little kissed by the sun, farmer tan,
Track and field. I miss those days.
Ooh, I know. All day.
Yeah, how about you, Kam Gee? What's leading up to? I know you had a few fights. You traveled a little bit, or not a lot of it.
Yeah. It feels like traveling when you go to Fort Worth. When you're in Dallas and you drive to Fort Worth, it's like going out of town. So, went and checked out some local fights over here in the area. So yeah, that was cool, man. I always get a good time to check out the local scene and see these guys that are coming up trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, it's always good to support the grassroots. That's where the real talent is, and it's always
Next
good to catch
generation.
them early. It's always good to catch them early. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We had one of those weekends where we have the face of boxing, the man himself. He doesn't fight a lot throughout the calendar year, but when he does fight, he brings butts to the seats. He brings pay-per-view buys. That man stays lit. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're talking about. Tank Gervonta Davis had a fight on Saturday at the Barclays Center versus my man. I'm freezing. I'm freezing right now. Lamont Roach Jr. Lamont Roach Jr. This is a DMV, a battle. This is a battle for turf. You have Baltimore. They call it Baltimore, Bmore versus DC. This is like real beef. This is like, if you're a Missouri person over there in Kansas City versus a Kansas City, Kansas person. So they're just like neighbors, and they really go at it. So before I just go into the particulars and the small minutia about the fight, fellas, what did you think about this lineup when you heard that they were about to fight March 1st?
Well, originally this fight was supposed to take place in Houston, Texas. I think, was it at the Toyota where the Rockets play? I don't know. I could be wrong on that one, but I think it's more appropriate to be back on the East Coast, closer to home for a lot of people on this card, and really, back to the essence and the roots. I think is real fitting because we're seeing the clock tick and the sand wind out of the glass for this PBC lineup. Ever since Showtime, came to an end, PBC, the whole lineup's kind of been, it's been a question mark. Gervonta is always going to be good. David Benavidez is a big enough star to carry his own weight, but everybody else on the roster, it's just a little time of turmoil. Earl Spence, question mark. Sean Porter retiring. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So. And I think this is one of the farewell tours for the PBC when you go down this card.
It's kind of like an end of an era, a good era actually. They gave us some good fights, So I mean, we already see what's happening over there on the side of Top Ranking, but not to digress. a lot of lead up to this fight. We heard about a possible retirement, a lack of drive, or like the fire is not in there for my man Tank. He wants to rediscover himself in a different way outside boxing. I mean, there was a lot to lead up on this fight, and I'll tell you this: the lead up kind of did our guy Lamont Roach a disservice, because we're leading up to that fight. I'll be honest, man. Hey, I didn't know about the man's game, and I didn't. Now I know. Now I know what he's about. Now I know. Now I know. I can't sleep on him. So let's talk about the fight.
For sure. Before we begin, shout out to our viewers. Make sure y'all tap into the comment section, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, and yeah, like, comment, subscribe. So I'll go first. I'll take a first dig at it, right? I'm watching this fight, right? And it's typical Tank. Slow start, but still he's better than the typical Tank that he's still the aggressor in the beginning. And Tank always picks and chooses his spots. He's not like a guy who's gonna blitz you out. He's just different. And he has a different rhythm to where he catches you. And as a person that has watched Tank over the years, I know when he's dangerous. I know when he's at his peak, and it's that from that 7th leading up to that 9th round, and he wasn't typical Tank in those rounds. Actually, Lamont looked like he was. Yeah, he's driving this. He got this. Like, and the controversial moment hit in the 9th round. Tank takes a knee. And there was no count involved. It was not considered a knockdown, but he did get his towel to clean his eyes. Apparently, whatever chemicals he had put in his hair while he was sweating it out, kind of was burning his eyes, whatever.
Man, I can attest to that though. Yeah. I don't know if that was what happened last night. And I have this concern anytime I see the corner put a glob of grease on their face, because as a football player, some of my most strong memories are having straight backs, cornrows, blue magic in my hair, and then putting that helmet on and the sweat coming down and the burn of the hair grease in my eye. So right. I've been there. I can identify, and I have this concern whenever they glob and grease on people's faces. But I mean, that is a thing. I don't know if that's what happened last night, but it is a thing. And so I don't know if it was from the sweat, or I don't know if it was from Lamont Roach touching him and it getting on the glove, and then Lamont redistributing that grease to his eye. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the things I look for all the time when they putting the grease on, and then somebody's working that jab, and then now the grease is on the glove, and you catch him at the right time. I mean, you redistributing the pain.
Right. I mean, I don't know too much about boxing will always throw a different new situation to you. Never seen something like this, especially during contact sports and during a game like a game of small micro gains, because you're pounding each other. I mean, pause. You're hitting each other, and it leads to the trauma at the end that kind of like makes you, I've overcome this person, right? And you stop the fight because your eye is burning. I know people that are fighting with broken hands, dislocated shoulders, and they never stop that fight. They never stop that fight. I mean, so they can pop your shit back. I mean, pop your stuff back in. So I was confused. I've never seen that.
This is combat. Like, you're in a sport where there can be blood literally running down your face, and you would have to continue the fight.
Right.
The panic of the situation, just not something you expect from Tank. But as of late, the comments that you're getting from Tank lately just show once again that his heart isn't really in it like it once was. Even going down to his relationship with Calvin Ford would seem a little bit weird going into this fight.
Yeah, and to give some to protect Tank a little bit here, I could be, if a fighter, I'm not a fighter, but if a fighter told me, it's easier to take a punch than to have like a spirit being thrown into your eye. I believe you, because some fighters are just used to taking punches to the head. They've been doing it their whole life, right? So to them it doesn't hurt. But you're in the pain game, and you stop. That looked like kind of like superstar treatment, because it's not like he waited 3 minutes so he could go back to his corner so he could fix that. It's not like he took a knee and it was not counted for. So I don't know what that would have changed the dynamic of the scorecards if that was counted. I'm sure the outcome.
No, the outcome is a Lamont Roach victory with a
by
10-8
majority.
round.
By majority,
A 10-8 round creates a win for Lamont Roach just off of that one incident.
Correct.
Right. But not to take away anything from Tank, he looked good. I mean, there were times where
wait, hold on, bro. You keep protecting Tank and saying he's the face of boxing. Do you have to, if you're gonna, you have to uphold him to a higher standard. You cannot sit here and say that he's the face of boxing and you're gonna protect him. Man, this is combat. Right. You went to a ring, you had a camp, you had preparation time, and you made a very novice mistake in the ring. It's like you panicked. If the product is in your, it probably was. I don't want to doubt that, but you can't make that type of error in a fight of this magnitude. You have to, if you're gonna hold him to that standard, bro, you have to really hold him to that standard. You can't you can't do it. You can't take a knee. If you do take a knee, you can't run to the corner. That's a disqualification. Hold him to the standard of what you said, face of boxing. I'm just really tired of Tank at this point. Like,
do you think that was a superstar treatment type of thing where, if it was any other person, like you just wait for the bell to go and then go to your corner and fix that stuff?
There's There is no thing. Hey, for real, if all he really had to do was say, "Hey, ref, there's something in my eye," and the ref would have called a timeout, because yes, you do get that superstar treatment.
Yeah.
I mean,
Steve Willis has had a rough couple of weeks, man.
What's his name? Steve Wilkes.
Steve Wilkes. He's having a tough run here.
He is hilarious. He watches the fight like a spectator. He instead of a technician out there trying to save people's lives. But all in all, boy, was I impressed by Lamont Roach and how he approached this fight. When he chose a strategy that I'd never seen Tank, fold on. I mean, that strategy that Lamont used.
Yeah.
Most people fold. Most people break because there was a lot of exchanging.
So what happened here? What happened here is we're used to seeing the influence of Floyd Mayweather, where Tank takes those first 3 rounds to download, and he progressively gets more busy after rounds 4 and beyond. Well, Lamont had a very patient approach. He didn't lend himself and put himself out there to make mistakes. It was kind of a conservative approach. And so he put the pressure on Tank to take the lead, right? It's one thing for you to be patient and wait to download the information. And so once Tank, it looked like Tank was going to start getting busy, but then Lamont said, now I'm setting my traps now.
Right.
Now I got you where I want you.
How many fighters have you seen hit Tank's body, like hit him to the body like that?
Clean punches?
I've never seen that. A lot of people, and maybe it's because Tank his structure and how tall he is, they're always aiming for his head, but this dude was doing clean body to head. Body, he was working Tank, and I could see Tank get tired and realize, like, okay, I'm in a dogfight right now. I'm in a dogfight because in the end of that 7th, there was an exchange where it was a very tight proximity exchange, and Tank hit him with a nice left check hook, and Lamont kind of hit him with a body and a right overhand, and I could see Tank shaking his head like, okay.
We seen Gervonta visibly shaking this fight. We haven't. The only time that we've legitimately seen him hurt was the contest against Pitbull Cruz, where Tank's hand was hurt and he basically fought the whole fight with one hand. But we seen Cruz. That was the only time I think we've seen anybody be able to make deposits to the body. Last night, we seen Lamont Roach have an effect on Tank. And I can't remember Tank visibly affecting Lamont Roach. I can't. I don't know if you do.
He had very good counter punches, but they were not doing anything. Like, I respected Lamont Roach's chin, but when the last rounds, right? Lamont Roach looked like the aggressor, and those are supposed to be Tank's rounds, like historically. And that's when I knew Tank lost the fight. There wasn't another level Tank was going to, but I could see that Lamont was just on gear 3, just playing it safe to win. And I could feel like Lamont could have taken it another level, but Tank could not take it the other level. And I could see Tank's corner looking all like, oh crap. When he went back in the 11th, there was like, they were having sobering takes for him, like, yo, you got to do this, you got to do more, you got to do, like, and I'm on the other corner, you could see Lamont's brother saying, stay poised, stay this. It was like more like finish line, don't go crazy. I know you got another level in you, but don't go crazy. And it's very disheartening that we saw that level that was brought out of Lamont, and for him not to get a victory it shows you what boxing, the state of boxing. It's always been like that. I do agree. Most people that have been watching this sport for years and years, they'll tell you to beat the champ, you have to beat the champ. But it's disheartening if you put that level of performance and you don't win. You don't win because you may never have that second chance with Tank, the Tank that I know. You may never have it in that same mindset. Like, you have to take your opportunity when it's there. And I don't know. The officiating may have not given him that opportunity to bask in his victory, which to the streets, everybody saw what they saw. Even the casuals were mad on Twitter, and they were Tank's homies. I mean, not homies, but fans. And Tank even had to say, man, they love you and they hate you. Like, it really, you switch from being a hero to a villain this quick. I couldn't believe what I saw yesterday. You want to add to that? Am I the only one who saw that? Like, Tank become a villain?
I think people are growing tired of some of the antics. They want to see a fighter of his skill and caliber go out and be great. They don't want to hear about guys talking about retirement and things like that when they haven't seen how great you truly can be. So you feel a little bit slighted as a fight fan, and then you go into the fight, you see a guy with Lamont Roach who clearly had a game plan and that showed a lot of mental fortitude within the fight to withstand anything that Tank had. So yeah, you kind of feel cheated as a fan a little bit. So yeah, maybe not a villain all the way, but you just kind of grow tired of the antics, the speech, now you can think, okay, man, is he cherry picking these fights? Will he have a rematch? Will we see you be great? And ultimately, that's all you want. So you can make all these criticisms and things like that, but as a fan, you just want to see fighters be great.
Yeah, let's talk about one, Tank's power, and let's talk about Lamont's absorption of that power.
Yeah,
we've seen
with Lamont being a smaller guy fighting at a smaller weight class. We expected Gervonta to get this guy out of there.
Yeah.
It's a cool reminder, man. Like, man, it's not about the size that hard. Like, the way my man was moving into those punches and eating them and still coming back and contesting. I've never seen that. I've never seen Tank, because Tank is, let's give Tank his propers. Tank is one of the guys in the 135 and in that area that has true one power knockout. He has that nuke, a real, no combination needed. I've seen him knock out people with one uppercut. He's knocked out people from the body shot, one body shot. He did it to Garcia, Ryan Garcia. He really has that power. He's that deal. How was Lamont Roach able to absorb those hits, especially earlier on when Tank was setting those straps and putting him in those positions where Tank knows best how to capture his victims?
We gotta acknowledge that Lamont Roach was slipping a lot of that, because if it was landing clean, he wouldn't survive. So we have to acknowledge that Lamont Roach put on a beautiful defensive display last night.
And on a
he's a well-schooled fighter. He showed a lot of old school tactics, rolling the shoulder, catching the hooks with the right hand, using the forearm, a lot of slick inside stuff. So things that you don't see from a majority of modern fighters. He could have been in black and white. Some of the things he saw defensively from Lamont Roach, from that perspective, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a reminder, like, bro, it's boxing is, they what's the thing? Champions they're not what's the word here? There's an old boxing saying, like, a champion is not, they don't come from the ladders they selected. So sometimes you may not know a fighter, but they may be the greatest fighter in the world. Like, just don't have a chance. They don't get those big looks. Like there may be some cold ass dude somewhere in Idaho that is probably still super nice, but you never know. But that reminded me. I didn't know who Lamont Roach was. I mean, I'd seen that name, but I've never watched him closely to know what style he fights in. And now even I know that the dude got power too. So hey, I can't wait to see his next fight. I think Tank wants to run this back quick. From what I've been hearing post fights, Tank was like, oh, they asked him about retirement. He was like, what retirement? He's like, nah, I'm not retiring from what? I gotta get mine. I gotta go back and get him, because in his mind, I think Tank thinks he lost, which that's the right approach, right? But I really do think we Tank fans, boxing fans, if Tank really is the face of this beautiful sport, he needs to run that quick. He needs to run that quick.
We gotta stop calling him the face, man. I reject that wholeheartedly.
Okay, one of the faces.
He is not. No.
One of the faces. I mean, no. He brings eyes
at this point in his career. Fight the best fighters, make it happen. No one wants to hear you talk about retirement. If you talk about retirement, just do it and leave.
Yeah. But okay, let's take retirement out of the window. If you're he's the one that brought it up. He's the one that brought it up, not me. Because I don't think he's the one that said it. I don't think he's gonna retire. But like, if we throw it out the window, if you're Tank, do you rush on this rematch, or do you go soul searching?
It depends. Like, if he felt any type of punishment, like he didn't. It wasn't a grueling contest, right? So this is March 1st, so we can get this the rematch midsummer.
It has to be this year. It has to be this
year. May's taken up, so we looking around. I don't know, maybe somewhere around the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So,
Shakur Stevens said, if Tank doesn't want to give you a belt, I got a belt for you, Lamont. Come fight me. So Shakur was like, yeah.
Juneteenth weekend. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, Shakur put his name in the hat too. He's like, yo, if that dude don't want to fight you, Tank is doing his soul searching thing. Hey, come over here. Let's fight. So Shakur is open to fighting Lamont Roach. I mean, I don't know, but there's so much for Tank out there that I don't even think this. I mean, we want to see Lamont Roach fight him again. Surprisingly, after yesterday's showcase, but prior to that, I wanted to see him fight Lomachenko. I wanted to see him fight a Haney. I wanted to see him fight possibly a Teofimo or any other fighter, But now, boom, Lamont Roach comes into this mix, so it kind of confuses. It kind of makes it interesting, to say the least. So, hey, it's always good to get these pleasant surprises. And thank you, Lamont Roach, man, for reminding us, man. Like, there's always somebody good waiting in line. It's not like, yo, that these prime fighters that we see because they have social media followings and whatever. Nah, the real deal is out there somewhere. And sometimes you just got to give them an opportunity to step on that stage to showcase the skills that pay the bills. So
add Lamont Roach to the chat with the Keishans and people of that name and that nature, the next generation now.
Yeah.
So
well. Let's go on to another title determining fight. This was for the WBA super lightweight. We had the champion defending his belt. We had let me pull my notes here because my phone went dead. We had Jose Valenzuela.
Right, Jose Valenzuela was coming off a victory over Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Where he jabbed him to death. Kept first person that we seen keep Pitbull at bay. Just remember that paddle with the ball on the string. Like that's what I just kept him at bay. Every time he bounced back, boing, boing.
Yep.
And then conversely, Gary Antoine Russell lost his previous fight.
A person on the same card.
Alberto Puello in June 15th of 2024.
Right.
So, shout out to the powers that be for giving him this bounce back fight. Coming off a loss is not very frequent that you get a championship fight.
By the way,
comeback fight.
If you look at it like Gary Russell, there's so many Gary Russells. Gary Antoine Russell Jr. Am I saying is he junior? Yeah, I don't think it's junior, right? It's his brother.
No. Gary Antoine Russell.
Gary Antoine Russell. He has an amazing amateur career. Like this dude, I was looking at some of the fighters that he fought in the amateur. He actually defeated Boots Ennis. He beat now I'm forgetting. But anyways, he fought Boots Ennis. He had an illustrious Team USA. He fought for the USA. He's traveled all over Europe. He comes from a fighting family. His father passed away, but he has a bunch. He has a line of brothers. All of them boxed. And of course, his older brother, former world champion. Now, him in the professionals is that transition sometimes could be a little different depending on what you. Sorry.
Wait a minute now. Don't discount it because he has TKO over Rancis Barthélemy, right? TKO over Victor Postal. Okay.
He has like 18 knockouts. Like
don't discount it.
He has a pretty good professional career. But like after he fought my guy over there, Alberto Puello, we thought like, is he ready for that big title type of test? And I mean, he didn't come up too short, but he lost that fight.
Split decision.
He lost that fight. But talk about a redemption story. Him fighting Venezuela. Venezuela known for quick hands, known for being rapido. Like to see how this dude maestroed that fight. Actually, to me, this was my better fight. I like this fight better than the main fight. What do you think, LT? I love this fight.
So what I see here is I look at a Jose Valenzuela outclass a Pitbull Cruz who gave Tank probably his third hardest fight. And then I see Gary Antoine Russell visibly outclass Jose Valenzuela.
It was a clinic. It was a clinic.
So again, we can't make the mistake of comparing opponents to opponents, but that's what we tend to do. But when we got both of these guys in the ring together, there's no denying what I witnessed last night. And masterful performance.
Masterful. Like you could see even Venezuela's team was like looking at dude like we can't do anything about this. Your dude is just getting danced on. Like it was the perfect balance between classic clean boxing and ragdolling somebody. I don't know how to explain it, but you just have to watch it. It's like he's boxing him, but he's also letting him know he's the bigger man because he's switching him, he's moving him around, and then it was just so beautiful. And I was like, okay, Gary Antoine Russell, you are truly skilled, and the sky's the limit for you, man. And your father did a great job, your uncle did a great job, your brother did a great job. Like, they prepared you for this fight, and the emotions at the end was something too. Like, if you're a human being, you see them all both take, look up to the sky, saying Dad would be happy about this, and talking about him being world champion. It was a beautiful moment, and it happening in the East Coast. I believe there are DMV guys. I could be wrong. I think they are. But I mean, it's not. It's Barclays in New York, Brooklyn.
Yeah, they're
It
from.
shouldn't be.
Yep, they're saying Capitol Heights, Maryland. So.
Yeah, they should be. The DMV is not far away. It's just like 2 hours away. So they must have a good number of family members in attendance to watch the young man Gary Antoine Russell take the WBA super lightweight title. That was beautiful, man.
I think, and I think that this sets up for a unification bout and rematch.
Absolutely. But yeah, do you want to jump onto the person that defeated him last time?
Absolutely.
So this particular fight, I hopped in beginning of the Gary Antoine fight. But I did see highlights of this one. Alberto Puello won. If I say this name right, Sandor Martin. And this was, he secured his by a split decision, and this was for the WBC lightweight title, as opposed to the WBA, which was the one next to that fight. I don't have too much to write home about this. This was all based on a split decision. The referees had it 113, 115, 115, 113, and 116, 112 to the victor.
What I will say is Sandor Martin is a very slick fighter, Spaniard. He gave my guy Teofimo some fits in their matchup. So high class boxing here, right? Split decision. So Alberto Puello cutting it close against some high names. So
yeah, and like Alberto Puello got skin in the game, so he's one person I'm looking at like, bro, we need to start talking about him and how long he's been around, man. So what's his record right now so far? If I remember,
we're looking at 20. He's 24-0. So
24-0. Okay, so he's still undefeated. Okay. That would, like you said, that unification bill would be. I'll watch it. About the Puello versus Gary Antoine part 2. Let's do it.
Quick note on Alberto Puello. 3 of his last 4 victories have been by split decision. So close fights. He's found a way to pull out victories.
Getting them out of the mud. So let's move on to the next one. I'll tell you this one I even didn't watch it. Same thing. It was one of those that I caught on a highlight basis. We are talking about Yonis Telez versus Julian Williams, and this is for the super welterweight. It's not for a belt, but it's super welterweight division. Telez won by unanimous decision, with the scorecards going the way by 117, 111, 118, 110, and 119, 109. So it was pretty convincing for a defeat. For those that want to catch that fight to get points, go watch it. YouTube probably has it. But for the sake of today's show and how this is going to run, we'll drive on by.
Yeah, 5'10" orthodox Cuban fighter. So
yeah. Oh, you talk about orthodox. Let's go into controversy. Controversy here. When I hear names like Paddy, I automatically think of like the UK or Ireland, like Paddy. But Paddy Donovan versus Lewis Crocker for the IBF welterweight title eliminator. Things get a little sticky on this one here, because the fight ended by disqualification from a punch that hit Lewis Crocker as the bell rang, and it knocked that person out. I wish I could play that video. The last videos we played, we had to take them out because YouTube was flagging us, and because of demonetization, it's making it a little tricky to play those videos. But it was a very controversial decision because my guy was already on his way to falling down. He was knocked out before the bell rang. But if did you have a chance, LT, to see it?
No, but I am looking at his looking at his professional record, and he puts people away on a regular basis.
Right. So Patty Donovan's team right now are petitioning or sending in what's the word? What they call it? Where they
appeal. Yeah.
An appeal for that decision because he was sending mans to sleep. He was already done, but they called it a DQ, and you know how that can mess you up, especially if your fight pocket is, or your fight bag is being included in that DQ. If you've been having trainers, if you've been paying for your gym rent, whatever, it sucks getting a disqualification as a prize fighter because your money's messed with. So if you have a team, your preparation, the time you've spent with not seeing your family, and some referee makes a decision, wrong decision that will affect your pockets, it could be very disheartening. Fellas, what do you think if it was one of your fighters going through a DQ that may be false?
Well, I'll be very upset because the referee wasn't in between the fighters. So as an official or a referee of the fight, the bell is about to come in 10 seconds. You should be in position to, like Steve Willis does. He jumps in between with his arm up to stop the action. Then anything beyond that, it can be deemed egregious. Then you disqualify the fighter. You don't qualify a fighter that is the aggressor and that is a ticky-tack punch at the bell. Right. That's that deserved a count, or not a disqualification. That was right. That was a bit much as far as that type of decision.
Wow.
Yeah, you gotta be, as an official, you 10-second bell, you say 10 seconds to the fighters so they can hear you. You don't drift away like our referee did in this fight. You stand in position so that you can interject yourself if you need to stop the action. Time. Right. Go back to your corners.
Right.
So
right.
You hate to see stuff like that, man.
Absolutely. We have 9 people live right now. Comment, subscribe, leave something in the chat if you want us to interact with you. We'll put some time to answer all your questions in the live chat. Leave a comment, subscribe. Let's engage. Okay.
For sure. Shout out Black Silver Music Barbados.
Yep. Shout out to Black Silver Music. That's a long time.
Hey man, engage with us. We engage back. Shout out to my mans. He engaged with us. We engage back. Where y'all at?
Yeah. So as we segue into another discipline, we'll be moving into mixed martial arts. We did have UFC Fight Night this Saturday. And in this Fight Night, the what they call it, the marquee names were Kepa versus Albama. Let me say this name. Albama Bayev. If I'm saying that right. Guys, help me out. Chat, make fun of me if you clown me if I'm saying it wrong. Alama Bayev. I think I said it right. So it's Manuel Kepa versus Aus Alama Bayev. I'm getting there, right? I'm getting there.
That last
one, right?
You got to roll with that one.
Yeah, Amadeus. Yo, I feel like I'm growing, man. I'm growing. I should.
Amadeus.
Yeah. So anyway, Kepa won this fight by a technical knockout strike. They knocked out my guy in the third round, 2 minutes 16 seconds. This was for the lightweight. It was not for a belt, but this was a lightweight bout. and hopefully Kepa's ranking goes up in the lightweight. These again, remember, these is UFC Fight Night, so not necessarily are they the big fight weekends where you have the number like UFC 312, UFC 320. But yeah, so these are just keep the fighters active. We have 10 people live. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, engage with us, and yeah, let's interact. Okay, on the next fight we have Cody. I want to say this: Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. Did I say that right? Let's pull that.
Yeah, you gotta roll with that. That was good.
Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. Cody secured a victory over Julian Marquez via also technical knockout, and this was also via striking in the first round. This is a first round knockout in the 40 within the time of 40 minutes 45 seconds. So that was quick. Got him out there quick. On to the next fight. We are flying through these and tell you, UFC, I really work for my I really work on my I need to work on my my language here. So here Nazarat Hazarat versus Esteban Ribovic. How did I say that? Esteban Ribovic versus Nazarat Parazat. Hey, anyways, I'll say Nazarat won the fight. Run the fight. Give me a second here. My notes are fading out here. But we had a win by Nazarat, and we'll move on to the next one because we're flying through these just for time's sake. Okay. We have Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Tamirov. And we had James Johnson defeated Ramazan, and this was by split decision. It was a very close contest. And then finally, the last bout that we will talk about on this weekend's UFC Fight Night is JJ Aldrich versus Andrea Lee. And this is for the women's flyweight division. JJ Aldrich secured a unanimous decision over Andrea Lee. And handing Lee, in this case, a 6th consecutive loss. Fellas, do you want to add to this as I did a quick speed round through the UFC Fight Night? Did you know any of those fighters? Is the question.
I think everybody was concerned about Tank this weekend. UFC did a great job of of scheduling. We'll put it like that.
I'd hold it down for the mixed martial arts people. Don't kill me. Those names are tricky, yo. Like, you add like super, names that are, you construct names. They're tricky. So I'll do my best. They need to get their weight up. When they get their weight up, and we know them, like we finally know how to spell Atatakompo. Before that, we used to just call him Giannis. So you get your weight up, people will know how to say your name. But hey, topics of discussion.
I got one coming up here.
Topics of discussion as we have people in the chat. Any comments? Something in the chat for us to talk about?
Hey,
what you got, LT?
We need to do some foreshadowing here because we haven't done predictions in a while.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
But here we go. How about this?
Seems
Wait,
like forever.
Do we have a date? Do we have a date for this?
We're looking at March 12th for this.
Oh wow, it's coming up.
So yeah, sneaking up on you, literally sneaking up on you.
Oh, Wednesday night. Wednesday night fights.
Well, it's going to be in Australia, so
I would say this.
Oh, those Wednesday night fight. We missed a Monday night fight too. I don't know if you knew that. Some Japanese fights tonight. Yeah, we did. We just. But yeah, go ahead. Wednesday night Keith night fight too. I don't know if you knew that. Some.
Bro, like with all these fights happening, with like the Japanese fights happening, and you think like people don't, watch them, but there's a lot of people that watch them because looking at how much anyone made lets you know that people watch these fights on a Wednesday night, on a Tuesday night, on a Friday night. But anyways, bringing myself back to the topic here. I'm not seeing Keith Thurman fight since 2020. When was the last time he fought?
Wasn't he supposed to fight Spence?
I think he was supposed to fight.
He's supposed to
his
fight.
Last fight was Pacquiao was the last fight I saw him fight.
He's supposed to fight Tim Tszyu.
Tim Tszyu?
And then the replacement was Sebastian Fundora. So this is Keith Thurman coming off a bicep injury.
Yes. So what was his last fight? Was that Pacquiao?
I think he had one tune-up after that.
I just think I'll watch it. Is
Wednesday night?
I'll watch it.
How you feel about it?
So listen, I think the big play here is he had a unanimous decision against Mario Barrios February 5th, 2022. So
I mean, it's one time, but is he like one time is one time, like one time's generation
3 years
is low key like one time like one time's generation is low key is low key that generation that is that already handed over the baton. Like one time is from that Earl Spence generation, the Adrian Broner. They already handed over the baton to the Devin Haney's of the world. So like sometimes the excitement of a one time, I mean, he's not a old legacy fighter like a Pacquiao. Even Pacquiao, he'll be 50, but he could come out of politics and say, I want to fight. And, seats are going to be filled, right? In Philip,
but that's Pacquiao.
Right? But
what we're talking about. It's the it's the PBC Fair World Tour. That's what we're talking about here.
Man.
Yeah.
And the tour's going worldwide.
He's not been active and exciting the last fights I've seen him for me to even, I mean, I'll watch it, but am I excited? No.
It's Wednesday night. You got to catch it Wednesday night.
And so this is an Australian opponent, and so now we're going to circle back to the Tim Tszyu fight. So this is a bounce back fight to somebody inside the camp of Tim Tszyu, and so it's the setup for.
So one time could not find somebody in Florida to bless, or somebody in he's from Florida, right? You can find somebody in Detroit to bless, because he's a name. He'll come out here and help somebody's record, because
I think what else he is saying is he's building intrigue in Australia. To build up a potential Tim Tszyu encounter. Is that what you're saying, LT, right?
Yeah, I'm talking economics. I'm talking promotion, and Strap's talking charity over there.
Yeah, because that's what he is right now. Right. I'm thinking this in this sorry to say in this stage of his career, like I don't know if the game has passed him. I want to see. I mean, I'll see. I mean, if he's that one time that we from yesteryear, that's revenue. That he knows what he's doing. He's setting up a play.
Where's the currency, right? Where's your market value? So he's going to the market where his name holds value. It's just good business. You can't be mad at the man for that.
I just don't want him to be Bernard Hopkins fighting in Russia, or Roy Jones fighting in Ukraine, getting knocked out by just a plumber. Like I just don't want that. Like. You know what I mean? Like, yes, the money may be good, but you're a legend. I'm not saying one time is a legend, but he's done a lot. He was part of a generation. It was part of a generation of young fighters that made the late 2010s, early 2010s, late 2000s interesting for boxing. So
well, he held the belts hostage. Errol Spence called him out for years, so it's one of those things where hey, his career went how it did, and
see,
we had opportunities. We had opportunities to have the fights be made with the likes of someone like a Spence at the height of their careers, and it didn't happen. So
I mean, but he made the Pacquiao fight though, so it's like
all these alumni are fat. All these alumni now they talk, they do podcasts, and they fat and retired. Like you talk about Sean Porter, that's his alum. You talk about Danny Garcia, that's his alum. You talk about Mikey Garcia, that's his alum. You talk about Earl Spence, he still has some lifeline. You talk about there were a good group of fighters that came out in 2009, 2008 that was okay, but he was part of that group. And I feel like right now, realistically, if you do the math, a lot of them may be 40 right now, 40, 30, 39, 38. They need
Keith Thurman started
37.
coming in at 36 in his fight.
How old
he has no bad losses though.
How old is he?
He lost to Pacquiao. I mean, let's look at his record. He has one loss to Manny Pacquiao.
He also lost to a bike. Remember that. Like that accident was pretty bad. Set him like 2 years.
Hey man, let the man go out on his terms. Okay, if George Foreman can come back at 50, all right, let the man go out on his terms. If he wants to fight Tim Tszyu, okay, fight Tim Tszyu.
Yeah.
Until you're showing that your faculties aren't in order, he's fighting a beatable opponent. I mean, he's making the right decision, fighting a test dummy. All right, and if you can't perform well against this test dummy, then you might want to sit down.
Yeah. We have 8 people in the live. Like, subscribe, leave a comment in the chat, engage in the banter, engage in the discussion. We need it for engagement. Also, we need it to correspond back and forth on what what direction we want to take these last minutes of the show. So
I got some more.
Drop your flag in the comments. See there. Okay. Ooh.
You see this? You guys see this?
Yo. Now we're talking.
So usually it's the IBF jumping in and saying, hey, fight our guy. Like make the fight happen in 90 days or we take our belt. Well, the WBC, the green belt, is finally throwing David Benavidez a bone. Because he's been the mandatory for Canelo about 3 years now. So you can't be the mandatory at 168 and not get a shot, then go up to 175 and be the mandatory. Right? You got to take care of the man because they promised him. They promised him to make them the mandatory. And they did, but they just didn't make it mandatory for the fight to happen. So
yeah, man. That would be a good fight. That would be a good fight. If it happens, woo! Just seeing it'll be fireworks. It'll be fireworks. And, we both know what both fighters bring. And Ali predictions. Oh, geez.
Not from us. for the comment section. What I will say is, well, I'll give you this prediction. Here's a prediction that I can give you. We won't see this fight next. What I will predict is that Turki Al-Sheikh pays David Benavidez some handsome step aside money.
Habibi,
why you say that?
Habibi, come have this money, Habibi.
Because the trilogy fight is there, the interest is there, and strike while the iron is hot. Okay, so you need to make the trilogy happen now while it's still relevant, and then you can always circle the wagon on this one. Because Turki can say, you know what, you wait, and we'll make this fight happen after the trilogy. Or Turki can say, I'll put you on the undercard of the trilogy and make you the co-main.
Huh.
And what type of opponent do you think he's facing on a card like that?
Ooh.
That's where the ticker is right there.
And so I always say, put fight the IBF number one contender, so they don't strip the belt. That's what I would. We said his name on a previous episode, but
Yo, once Turkey comes in with the Habibi, hold this bag, Habibi.
Because Morrell was the WBA. I think they call theirs the regular, right? So at this point, Benavidez should be the WBA, WBC mandatory.
Right.
And so now you put the IBF mandatory under there. And then they can go head to head as the co-main. And then the winner of that fight gets the winner of the trilogy.
So did you know I was watching $1 million worth of game, and they had the businessman as a guest. They had Keyshawn, and Keyshawn said that these organizations charge you for their belts.
Right. Yeah, there's a sanctioning fee. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I want their money.
So a lot of these fighters don't even care about the belts. They care about the quality of opponents. So he was saying, like, who cares about a unification? I just want to fight the best fighters. So, like, LT said something that was real. Like, yes, they may push for this, but once, the Arab money comes in, and then they're like, Habibi, here's a bag. Hey, drop that. Give them their belt. Give them their belt. Give them their WBC belt, man. We have a big fight here with, Benavidez 3. We don't want you to injure yourself. We don't want you to mess your market value because you're hot right now. We don't want Benavidez to put a dent in your mystique. Hold this bag. It will be an extra bag for you to chill and give them their belt bag, and they'll figure out. But we have what we want, because at the end of the day, you'll come back and WBC will hug you with open arms.
You
because you'll still get back.
You can get 3 bags. Step aside money, co-main money.
There you go.
Next fight money.
There you go. Going back, we have. Did you cover John Davis? You said something about fighters. Everyone has a bad day or off night.
Right. Yeah,
he was talking about we kind of hit that.
The Tank Davis
earlier. And there were just some bad bites, and something definitely seems to be there. So we see it all the time in boxing. Coach, fighter relationship being a little strained, and fighter's performance is affected by it, and typically does not at that point. So good catch by John Davis right there.
Yeah,
I want to touch on one more thing real quick, because this can cap off our PBC farewell tour.
But isn't Caleb from that? Caleb has been around for a long time. Isn't he from the same? Is he from the Keith Thurman's era, or in between? He's a tweener.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Caleb Plant definitely acquired. He got his belt against. The guy from South America. He got caught on steroids, but anyway.
He beat Darrell, right?
He also beat Darrell. Like, again, Caleb Plant is a high level fighter, highly skilled fighter. So this matchup, Pacheco, we talked about him being a possible contender for a Canelo matchup. I think he's a top ranked. Well, I think Pacheco's a top ranked guy, but I know he's from the Benavidez camp. So Plant and Benavidez, we've seen that fight. Plant just continues to take care of business at 168 and keep his name in the conversation. And Pacheco's some new blood, and this could be a potential matchup, maybe 2026. Saudi Arabia. Probably the fourth.
Oh, that's what we're thinking. This is the card for next year.
No, this is the undercard for Cinco de
Canelo's
Mayo.
fight. Cinco de Mayo. Canelo's
Gotcha.
fight.
Okay. Yeah.
But the winner could potentially be the matchup on the fourth fight. I believe the fourth fight of the contract. That's just me projecting.
Gotcha. That's a very, very intriguing matchup. Pacheco, the young champion.
Diego Pacheco, I believe his name.
Diego Pacheco. There you go. Was impressive in his last outing. And Caleb Plant, who we know, sweet hands, always has some tricks up his sleeves. Coming off of that victory was Trevor McCumbee, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
A very entertainment fight. I think this is a good style matchup. Victory was Trevor McCumbee. So this is a very intriguing matchup. So I would be very, very interested in seeing how this plays out.
It makes for a quality card. And I want to say that Terrence Crawford should probably study the Caleb Plant fight because he had some success against Canelo the first about 8 rounds until he just kind of ran out of gas.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Caleb Plant. He's a guy that I trust will always. His first thing is to entertain the fans. He's a fight I could watch fight, and I always have trust in his style of fighting, as in for entertainment factor for a casual. But with his skill set, it's very complicated because he's so dynamic, he's so cool, and his level of adjustment is like masterful. Like he adjusts to the fighter whenever he's in trouble. When he's been caught, of course, Canelo caught him, but still, like, he does not go against his style. You know what I mean? He's still gonna make it a good fight. So, Pacheco is new fodder into the game, new face into the system. Highly ranked. I think, is he ranked number 1 or number 2? Pacheco on BoxRec. It's down right now. The site is down, but I think it's number 1. I believe.
Pacheco is a
I think
the WBC USA and WBO International super middleweight title. So he has some of those contending type belts going hanging around right now.
Yeah, I think his last fight was like a title eliminator type matchup.
Well, that would be
Steven Nelson out of the Terrence Crawford camp. That's what it was. We just covered that a few weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, let's see how he stands with a wily veteran who is Caleb Plant, and if he could handle those waters, then he's ready. He's ready. But I think Caleb deserves a title shot again. I mean, you guys said it, everything to the best of, I can't say anything else to top what you guys have said. So we do have somebody in the chat. So
just one more thing. We probably got saved by Bruno Sacre because Canelo was leaning more towards giving a rematch to his countryman. And so Caleb Plant is definitely more deserving and a more entertaining style. Like, he actually went for it versus some of the opponents that
he wasn't trying to survive. He
opted to survive.
And that's why this show will always support Caleb Plant, because we know it's not an easy deal. You're going against the great fighters of your generation. But go out there, be a man, be a fighter. We will respect the end result. You can live with that.
We have a question in the chat. Should Roach petition to overturn the fight?
I mean, when was the last time we saw a petition work? I really would like to know, when was the last time a petition was filed and then that grievance was met by an overturn or anything?
David Haney.
David Haney. There was like evidence.
Well, that was outside of
right.
Dirty P. I don't know if we've seen
Oh man.
So I'm really curious to know that.
I think in the fight
Right.
game, it's not like football or basketball where you lose a championship, it's you're done again. Now you have to go back and play all season to get your weight up. In the fight game, you lose or you get a draw and you fought with good spirit. It's good that people want to see you fight again. So that's another bag, because in this case, it's a business. So in a business, if we're looking at fighting as just not fighting, but as a business, not wins or losses, it looks good in Lamont Roach's side that, hey, he still has another 10 mil to go for, because it's for sure that's you're stuck, like kind of you've cut every corner of Tank's movement, because Tank cannot avoid you. And if he avoids you, people will be like, yo, you're ducking that smoke. So he has to meet you again. And when you're meeting head on with a Tank, guaranteed you're gonna get paid. Guaranteed. That's like an extra, like if I'm, yes, for my ego, yes, it sucks that I drew. For my pockets, oh my God, I drew and I put that statement out there, because if I won and I beat him in horrible fashion where I made him look bad, it will be like Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence. People didn't want to watch the second fight. They don't want to watch them fight again, right? Because it was just a bad fight. First fight was just bad. But this was a draw. So both fighters are going back and like, yo, Tank may not need that money, but Lamont is like, yo, I get another big payday, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help for Lamont wins. Yeah.
It's great for business because you can put so many people from the same card on the rematch card, because, all right, Tank and Roach can run it back. Gary Anton Russell and Alberto Puello can have a unification bout, rematch, run it back, get it back in blood. You can even put Sandro Martin versus Jose Valenzuela as on the undercard, right? You see what I'm saying here? You can
LT, you be giving the game.
Who says the higher ups didn't make it a draw just for that? After they saw the outcomes after round 11, they're like, nah. I don't know. I'm not trying to bring tin hat theories here, but like I understand one thing. Once the business is right, the business is right. Yeah. You can't ever go against the business.
Fight, to answer the question, he should petition fight, and it should be overtime. And that he should
a funny person.
get the victory. Look, man.
I'm in 313 Detroit. What up? Shout out. Hey, Pistons.
What up, though?
Pistons hot right now.
Yeah. But yeah, like with Tank, man, Tank is one of those guys. Like you have to be very selective who you pick to fight. Right. Tank needs to be selective on who he fights, because he's literally a walking blessing to any fighter. So when you win or loss, like it's just like you're in the hot seat. You're the guy who has the bag. You're the guy who has the marquee name. You're going to bless any fighter. So fighters more than likely want to fight you multiple times, win or loss. They want to fight you multiple times. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Same thing as another fighter, Canelo. Canelo will bless. Right now, Canelo is just going around blessing fighters. Who should I bless? He did that with Edgar Balega. I don't know how that worked for his career, but he did that with Edgar Balenga. Blessed.
Yeah, he had some some comments to say about the outcome last night.
What did he say? I missed that.
Oh, he said that Tank defecated the bed last night.
And what did he do with Canelo?
Collected a check.
Yeah. Edgar put the money under the mattress.
Yeah.
So Miguel Marquez.
He also isn't regarded as being the face of boxing.
Miguel Marquez is that's like different generations. Those guys were kind of different, man. The Mexican fighters of the yesteryear, them dudes were hard to get out. They would hardly get knocked out. They were so difficult. Like when Pacquiao was like low-key, Pacquiao for a minute had Mexico too. Like they were claiming him, even if he was from the Philippines. But Mexico loved watching Pacquiao fight because he had that same style at one time. But the legend, one Miguel Marquez was a problem, and them fighters are just generational. You talk about him, you talk about the Sanchez of the world, you talk about they're just different gravy compared to the fighters of today. Like
to answer the question,
yeah.
Juan Manuel Marquez might put him in a race car bed. Y'all remember that meme?
right.
Put him in the kitty bed.
Just stick it to the bed thing. What up, y'all? Yeah. Hey,
Julio
we here.
Chavez. Julio Chavez, all the fighters, yeah.
Let me address the congregation. Hey, we here every week. Hit the subscribe button so y'all can get the notification, get the reminder to come in. Hey, we appreciate y'all in the comment section. Ain't no other podcast giving y'all love like this. What up, Nate? What up, Ankh? What up, Machiavelli? John Davis. Hey, my man from Barbados. What's up, y'all? We here.
I wonder where Brody from Canada is. The one that I forgot his name, but he's in the chat. He's a chat.
He might be lurking.
He's one of our chat warriors, man. But yeah, like fellas, it's been another long 1 hour. Should we conclude this?
Yeah, we usually try to cap it at an hour. We stuck around a little bit extra for the engagement. Y'all engage us, we engage back.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Good looking out, brothers. Good looking out.
Hey, there's a song called "What Up, Ankh." Look it up.
Oh.
Well, there's a song on
a Dallas native. What up,
Cam? There's a song on Nas's Untitled album where he talks about roaches, and so when he said it's hard to get rid of a roach, I was thinking about the interlude.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
He says, we're still getting engagement, yo. I think Teofimo should. You know what? These fights should have happened.
See the fight. That's it.
Yeah, they should happen.
Exactly.
It should just happen.
My frustration. Just make the fight happen. Win or loss, we're gonna appreciate both fighters. We just want to see the best fight the best.
I always thought that those fights would happen at 147, and so I'm surprised that Tank was able to stay this low and waiting, throughout the course of his career.
Man, he's a small guy. He's fighting there. He's walking around with.
Well, I mean, now he is. But also he found discipline because remember he was hanging around with Strap's favorite guy, Adrian Bronner, and so
please don't bring him up.
The problem.
He is a problem.
Hey, I got to bring him up. It's the PBC farewell tour. Episode 46.
Three-time champ. Three-time champ. The can man. Anybody can get it. Mexican, African American, everybody. What you say? Daddy brush my hair. Whatever you used to say. Yo, like it's wild, like to see how far everyone is thus placed in the right. Like at one time, Gervonta Tank, when he used to move with AB was like low key his OG or something of that nature.
He was missing weight. He was missing weight.
Yeah, and Tank was getting they used to call him the chubby Tank back then.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Tank Hot Grease Davis.
I seen that one. I was wild.
I like that one.
What if Haney fights Boots and beats him? You think the casual?
Go to some bird.
If you think the casual, especially Ryan fans, are going to give him respect? Haney fights Boots and beats him.
Haney fights Boots.
Oh. That'll be a 147. He's showing off a new physique at 147.
I saw that.
But I don't see a Haney beating someone like.
I don't see him beating Boots.
I just can't see it.
I'll paint the scenario, okay? I'll paint the scenario because Boots is having a hard time making 147. Haney will be more comfortable at 147 because he's been having a hard time at 140. I think it could present the perfect storm for Haney to outpoint Boots because he definitely, has that technician in him. But it will definitely go to the cards. I can see that scenario. And Haney definitely has more cachet when it comes to officiating. So that's the scenario.
Like
on that snack system, hopefully he got his right hand up and catches the hook because who's gonna throw that thing?
Oh man, I like that. Tank Hot Grease Davis. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Haney versus Spence.
I actually
looking at Spence ain't fighting at 147 ever.
Yeah, this can't happen at 147.
Spence ain't fighting at 147 again. Yeah, but again, another perfect storm for.
Yeah,
I think Spence will have enough juice to get Haney out of there, but.
Hey, Spence is on social media trying to show everybody he's not fat, so the mighty have following.
Yeah, man. Like they trolling him.
Yeah, that's a very reasonable take there.
Well, he's getting put to bed.
Yolanda Dixon, what up? Thanks for tuning in with us.
First time viewer, thank you for joining in. Like, subscribe, put your notification bells on in case we get on live. We usually get on live every post fight, pre lead up to. Sometimes we get on live midweek, but Sundays we do discuss post fight. Thank you for tuning in.
We typically cap it at an hour, but y'all giving us engagement, so we showing y'all some engagement love.
And we're showing love. Like, this is what we do it for. Which twin are you talking about here?
Hey, PBC farewell twin.
Jamel or Jamal? Both of them? I mean, one of them is active. One of them is active still.
PBC farewell.
Hey, entertaining. Gotta get them ready.
Yeah. Fellas, what do you think in a perfect world, right? Let's get Tank Roach out the way, part 2, right? And regardless of what happens, what would Tank? Because Tank is let's be honest. Tank is now getting into legacy because he's 30 victories, or he is 30 victories, but of course with a draw. Do you think it would make sense for Tank for us, the fans, to still scream out for a Shakur Tank or a Teofimo Tank or a Lomachenko Tank? Because remember, Lomachenko is getting old. He's out of here. I think the next Lomachenko may only have 2 more fights in him. What do you think is realistic?
Lomachenko is quietly quit the sport, so I don't even think.
Do you think his
name is realistic? I think Lomachenko.
He's a belt holder still, I think.
In recess, are the Charlos belt holders in recess?
No fights on the docket though.
All right. So
of course we want to see Tank fight these names you mentioned. That's all we wanted. We've been asking for it. We want that fight. We got Frank Martin, Ryan Garcia, Hector Garcia, and Rolly Romero, Isaac Cruz.
Tank is talking about a rematch with Ryan Garcia.
No.
And they're conspiring to make as much money as possible because we don't want that either.
That's what it's coming down to. He's from the Money Mayweather cloth.
Yolanda, you're trolling. I don't think Tank. They're too remember this Jake Paul guy is 6'2". He walks around 215 pounds, right? He and then he has if he at lightest he could be a cruiserweight, like a 190 something. I don't think Tank is.
We've seen that. We've seen that
fight.
5'1",
5'2", 5'3". Yeah,
we've seen that. We've seen that early in Jake Paul's career against
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson.
Nate is like 5'9". Nate is small for a basketball player, but big for a regular person. Like he was 5'9". 5'9" is not small. But Tank is really like Tank is small. But yeah, like that's what we've said. Like these fights, all of them are intriguing. But to me, as a fan, like there's some fighters that we wanted those fights to happen. I don't want to see Tank fight David Haney. I don't want to see Tank fight Ryan Garcia. But I still do think Shakur Stevenson is the one that I would want to see Tank fight, because Shakur is still like an enigma in this division, because we've seen him for a long time. We've seen him fight since the Olympics, and till today, there's still something that I need to see more from Shakur. I don't know why. It's just a weird, you know what I mean? There's like I want to see him challenged, and really and truly, I think Tank is person.
It's about the same thing. They have about the same career, just about, yeah. And
you're leaving wanting a little bit more. That's what it comes down to.
Because believe it or not, I see the genius in Shakur. I see like there's one of one Shakur in this generation. I only see just one Shakur. I've seen David Haney. I want to say hype job, or he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's on the Shakur level or a Tank level. And I want to, and maybe I'm wrong for looking at Shakur this high, but there's just something special I've always seen in Shakur since he was an amateur, and I just want to see that reflect in the pros. I wanted to see him fight the big names, so we could talk about this kid from Newark, New Jersey, who was special from the get-go with his reflexes, his level of IQ. I want to see that Tank fight with him still.
And for me, I would like to see, I think the better matchup is Teofimo, but Teofimo's moving up in weight. And, to mention Teofimo, even Kambosos is jumping in. Like everybody's piling on Tank right now. Like Kambosos, like his resume is probably better than Tank's at this point, as far as the names that he's competed against. 4 Hall of Famers on the resume, and he said, "I got 4 Hall of Famers on my resume. What do you got to show for it?"
Right. But yeah, fellas, I think it's time for us to, do the conclusion on this great episode. It's kind of pushing it late in the night. Those people that have subscribed, watch this show, we love and appreciate your engagement. This is like, it's like seeing your child grow, so we appreciate you growing with us as we also grow in this space of YouTube live streaming, and just, giving you our professional, unprofessional takes and unpacking of fights. We love combat sports. We love boxing. So join us in our community. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, put a notification bell on your subscription so you're notified whenever we go live. Ladies, gentlemen, it's been another great episode 46 of Who's Fighting. Kam Gee, LT.
Yo, who's fighting?